Working solutions for Africa. Working solutions. Entrepreneurship and innovation is the way to go for Africa.
If you're not training your child after you are gone, where will people go?
If you invented an online business.
Entrepreneurship and innovation is the backbone for Africa. Tune in to the Tribal Roots Studio every Thursday with Alina Zahir. Entrepreneurship and innovation.
This is the Tribal Roots Studio, and my name is Alina Zahir, and I have colleagues here, all are part of the Tribal Roots Studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you that before we even start, we ask you and implore you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have this channel where you're watching from. We also have the Tribal Roots Studio YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter account. Anywhere you want, you could go and find most of our episodes and all the great information that you may need. And please also remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment, because that helps us to grow, and we would like to grow with you. So today in studio we are having a special discussion with my brothers here. So I think before I can even go further, we can have them introduce themselves by both names.
Okay, I'm Isaac Kano, and I'm a medical student, and I'm so happy to be here and to have this discussion today. I hope you enjoy it and learn from it something.
My name's Mafal Pius, and I'm glad to be here in this place. Yeah.
Okay. And once again, my name is Alina Zahir, and so we are in the Tribal Roots Studio, and today we are talking about the effects of the COVID and especially the lockdowns. We are looking at those things you could have thought they were really downsides, but we're also looking at the good in how we were inspired, or how we shifted. It shifted most of us, it shifted most of our friends and relatives, and we saw a very big shift in the world. And basically today we put our focus on the young people, especially those who were going to school, like secondary school, upper primary school, how they were able to now fit in this environment, being able to live alongside their parents, with the relatives, interacting with the communities, and getting so much involved in the daily activities of running their communities. So I think I'm not going to go further than that. I will also let my brother here, Kano, say something about the topic.
Yeah, of course, we are looking at the some of the effects that COVID brought during COVID and after COVID. Yeah, we are seeing so many things that people had to adjust and adapt in the COVID period. That you see, apparently right now the COVID effect is reducing. Like the COVID itself is going down. Yeah, worldwide we're seeing that the economies are opening up, but then there are some things that we did while we were in COVID. We adjusted and adapted new habits and new tactics that we're doing in COVID. Like for example, entrepreneurs. Yeah, people had to think out of the box to make sure that they can earn a living, to see a way of surviving in the times. So I think some of those things should not be dropped out because the economy has now opened and we are back to normal. I think some of those things should keep on. For example, if you invented an online business, because that's what trended most, online things. Yeah, someone can be online and is able to communicate and do some business, for example, graphics. You do something online. Yeah, like you do online shopping, you start selling clothes online, selling shoes online, like all those things. I think those habits should continue even to the students who have gone back to school, campus. You can still develop it more and make a good progress out of it.
Yeah. Because what you're saying is right. They say when life throws lemons at you, you make lemonade. So the COVID lockdown inspired most of us to think outside the box, as you say. Now the problem is, why should we stop thinking outside the box? Because now the economies are opening up, the COVID is kind of reducing. Why should we drop those very adjustments we had made that were helping? Like, they have helped us to survive, they have helped us to grow, and I think we should enforce them.
I think we shouldn't drop them. We should find a space for them. Just that most people have now gone back to normal, and most people are likely to tell you, now it's normal and things are a bit now tied up, busy, this one, this way. But then if you find space for something, you never know what the future has. You get? Yeah, like we have been hearing this variant after this variant, what if it strikes again?
Yeah.
So we have to put now it in plan that we have an option, another option.
We have to fight.
Yeah, like people who have been doing salon work, people who have been, salons at a point had to close. If you've been only doing at a bar, you've been working in a bar. Bars have been closed for such a long time. How have you been surviving? How has that person been surviving? You get? Yeah. But now when we talk about this in that very COVID time, is here in Uganda is when we had a lot of other bad habits also. We could be here talking and then someone says, the Gambia should go on. You get? So I think the good habits, the good survival instincts that we developed, not those bad ones, because in that time is when we saw thieves walking in with live cameras, seeing them, but they don't care. They're walking in to steal. And the Gambia were up and down. People were looking for ways of surviving, stealing. So we are not really talking about those bad practices.
Okay.
Yeah, we are talking about the good habits that we generated during the COVID.
It's like how many of what examples of the good habits or the good adjustments that were you able to see during the COVID lockdowns?
To me, at first, it was hard. It was hard time, but I later realized I had to do something of my own. Before, I was just learning production.
You're learning music production?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So when this COVID came in, I was stuck, the situation was hard, and to a certain extent I was dormant. So I came up with an idea of, doing this audio production.
Yes.
And now I cope up. Yes. Now people call me a producer,
Yes. Producer.
Yeah.
Now you see, like you have the time as the lockdown has really put you in a position to focus.
Yeah.
You are learning a skill.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So me basically, my experience is really touching. For me, I don't know for others. In the community where I live, I was able to see young boys and girls in the teenage working at shops of their parents. And actually there's a friend in my neighborhood. She's a woman. She had a young boy of like maybe 15 years. And now when they went back to school, she was telling me and saying, my business was doing so fine because he was here. And now she feels like everything has like gone back to. Yes. So the boy was very good with customer care. Okay. He was energetic. He was waking up very early. He knew how to negotiate. Like he really had the skill of business. And now me, I was thinking about it this way. Now these boys, like many others, they have gone back to school. In our schooling system, you never get a chance to train in things like this.
Yeah, you're right.
And at the same time, these are the very survival skills that your parents are able to look after you, raise you, educate you, and that is their source of income. And now the problem I'm talking about right now is the very sources of income, the very channels where our parents get income are not being passed down to the young ones. Like if you have a very successful chicken business, you find like you have 3 kids or 4, they are not learning the skill. They are not learning the business. I have actually also met these people who treat diseases using traditional medicine. It's herbalists. I always ask them most of the time, if you know how to mix this herb to create a medicine that can heal children from stomachache and worms, if you're not training your child after you are gone, where will people go?
And by the way, it is in the COVID time that we discovered a lot of people coming up with herbs.
Yes.
Treating every plant was a herb.
Yeah.
But there are those people who knew which herb was good, you know. Yeah, like I have my friend. My friend has his mom, who is very good with those herbs. He can tell you now when you have a stomach ache or diarrhea, just get this, boil it and take.
Yeah.
When you have flu, flu is not an issue with her. You just get this eucalyptus, boil it and steam yourself. Add there this and this. So when the COVID came, they never suffered for them.
They didn't suffer.
There are these ones who
I think most of us. I was also in my village, like every home in my village, they were really venturing into. Every day you see them in the bushes picking these herbs, and then they do the cooking, they do the steaming. It became like a habit and culture. And then of course I remembered like some years ago there were very many people in Uganda who were demonizing herbalists, demonizing them to the extent that they could call them witch
doctors.
Yeah, like isolating them from society, like making them like unwanted. So at the time that COVID comes, we are now forced.
I think it's just an association whereby people associate everyone who knows something about herbs to be a witch doctor, because most times when they go to the witch doctor, they receive herbs
which they don't even know.
So he thinks that anyone who knows about herbs is a witch doctor. Yet when you learn about things like pharmacy, agriculture science, you learn a lot of these things. These plants, they are plants, you get, and their leaves, their roots, and sap can be very good in treatment of. Yeah. And it's out of most of these herbs that these whites came and extract the medicine.
True.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any of us. I think here. I don't think any of us like grew up without the herb.
Most of the initial treatments.
The initial vaccine was the herb. Like no matter we do this mouth to mouth, and then also the other bath, the herb bath. And I think our strength comes from that. Actually, the world knows that COVID didn't really ravage Africa the way it did other continents. They probably don't know the reason why, but this our trick is just
I think we know a lot. We still have, you know, now the problem is Africa, we are still blessed that we still have a lot of herbs. Most countries, like now you go to US, if you find a place which is shrubby, and I think you have to move a long distance to reach. But here, everywhere there are herbs. You can just be walking outside your compound. There are herbs everywhere. Even in Kampala, within Kampala, you still have places which are bushy and have all these things.
I just pray that we don't lose this, because things come, industrialization and urbanization, and you see like most of the ecosystems being encroached on, like the forests, the big forests, like that's a threat to our existence. The whole ecosystem works. It works in unison. You need these small organisms in the soil as much as you need the plants, and your survival depends on the existence of the rest. So like I think that was a very good example. Like we saw people venture into herbal medicine, during the COVID lockdown. And our point in this program is, why should we drop that practice? No one should say, the COVID is gone, so now we can now start demonizing the herbs again. I think we should enforce it and make sure like it becomes a part of our lifestyle. So because we don't know what lies ahead. We don't know what's in the future.
Yeah, I think for the case of the herbs, I think we should just add value to it. Instead of dropping it, study more about it. And find a way of not only looking at COVID, and then you find a way of solving other illnesses that are in community. Because COVID came in and it struck hard as if it was the only illness affecting us. But the other illnesses that you find people are struggling with, skin issues, you have digestive issues, you have cancers, all those things. Why can't we also try to engage them and find a way of solving also them?
So like I also think now, like at school, the teachers and the schooling system, like the whole Ministry of Education and everything, they also need now to look at the curriculum. They need to look at the curriculum this way. These young people who have been in the villages have been learning to live in the villages, to survive, to do businesses, to start entrepreneurial projects. And this kind of learning, they don't get it at school. And I think it's the very reason why we have many young people graduating. They won't get employment for 10 years or more. They are looking for jobs where the jobs don't exist. And also, now there's this false image of a person who is educated is having the papers and approaching some office for a job. They're not talking about starting business, small enterprises in the communities. They think like that is for the uneducated. And I think that's a very dangerous misconception that needs to be uprooted. And I think because now the young people have gotten this experience during the COVID, like you can do this business. You can sell bananas, you can be the best chicken farmer, you can, even the fruit business was doing so well during COVID because people are like, they said if you want to heal from COVID, you need to take fruits and vegetables and the vitamin C. So the fruit business was thriving.
Lemons became very expensive.
Yes, the lemons became very expensive.
People did take lemon very serious. As you would go to buy a lemon and they give you like 40 lemons at like 1,000 shillings, Ugandan shillings.
I know.
But right now you'd go there, they give you they price every lemon.
One.
Yeah, they tell you one lemon is 1,000. So
that's a big eye-opener.
And I think most of the areas that I think considering Africa and Uganda in specific, people should so much look at agriculture also, not forgetting it, because it's one of our backbones.
It is life.
Agriculture
is life.
Like if you look at a family without an agricultural background, it is really, there's something missing, you get, because it really cuts down a lot of costs. If you have a garden whereby you have at least food, you can plant maize, you can plant bananas, you can plant other crops, food crops, and then you can plant beans. It reduces the cost. You're going to buy cooking oil. And then you end up buying again also flour. You buy tomorrow. You buy all these spices. You're buying everything. You get. So, for instance, now the COVID input, that COVID time, whereby you're not working, money is not coming in. You get, you're on standby, you're on standstill.
Yeah, people have lost jobs.
You get. So how are people surviving? You get, survival becomes difficult and people start crying out and all those things. So I feel like if we adopt that system of whereby even if you're in town, even if you're settled in town, you should have at least land somewhere, either in a village where you are cultivating.
Yes.
Because we still have land in Uganda.
Yes. And I think now with education, some of these practices need to be made basic education. Because I think in a setting of a school, that is why you would have like the whole school mandatory. They must train in planting vegetables. Like everyone must know that. Most schools have some land, extra land. Like you would say now, like everyone who is at this school is going to have to train. Because at the end of the day, everything you talk about is going to go back to you being able to have good health, to be able to have food in your stomach, to be able to feed well. And most of the people can't afford to buy most of the things they need. So at least vegetables and fruits, like make it basic that every African child. And I think tribal roots, we have that program coming. Like we are going to take the agriculturalists, our experts to the schools, to interest the schools to
introduce that skill.
To introduce that, make it basic. Like that's basic knowledge that everyone needs. It's like for the girls, every girl, there are things every girl should learn. Attending a home, cooking, raising kids. Like if these kids don't get this kind of education at school, this education doesn't exist anywhere else because they are always at school. So like now we are looking at encouraging the school setting to become a hub where the children, the teenagers, can acquire all the skills needed for them to survive, even when they get out of school. So that this business of we left school and there are no jobs, and the next thing you see all the youth on the streets protesting, this government doesn't like us. So like the government really has nothing on you for the things you should have learned in your home. Like that's why they say charity begins at home. There are things like the school won't give you. So like I think this is the point. I was very pleased when I saw like teenagers. I was so really fascinated. Teenagers engaging in businesses in a better way, on a higher level, like running the business. And I was like, now if this was their life, like if this was the life, like at 17, 16, these children are allowed into business. And I think this is why countries like China and India, I mean, let me leave India out. China, there's a point China was like Africa or worse. Now, where China is, the world envies. And China is actually competing to be a world power, or if it's already not. But when we read about China's revolution, it was not any kind of revolution, it was just culture. It was a cultural revolution. These people were forced to speak their language. These people were forced to support the arts. You know, like arts you watch on the movies. Like every child was forced into karate and these other things. Now, the other thing is industrialization. These people were directed into manufacturing. So kids of 9, 8 years were training on the jobs to manufacture something. They were not being sent to school to read some books and answer questions, which I think is outrageous. Because like this is the kind of education I got all my years. Read this book, I'll ask a question and you answer what you read in the book. And in my life I'm like, so am I bright or is that really smart? Because what you asked me to answer, you already gave it to me. I read this book. You are the one who gave me the book. Now you're asking me to answer the question. You know I already know because you gave me the book. So like nothing is being added on my... So like now this kind of education that should allow the children now to be like, that's a CD player. How's it made? That's a camera. What's in the camera? Like, what are those parts in the camera? How can I assemble this? How is the bicycle assembled? Like, this is the kind of apprenticeship that the Chinese were getting at a very young age. And now we are at the age whereby in Africa,
Most of the things
my phone is Chinese. This is Chinese. We even have cups in Chinese. Spoons and everything made in China, even matchboxes. What a shame. Like we have matchboxes, razor blades and safety pins and needles made in China in every African home. So how else do you want the world to rule you? That is how nations become powerful. So like now, what is this kind of education that is not allowing our graduates to come out of school as manufacturers?
No, to me, when I was still in senior one, I was like, I wish they could just, I don't know, when you enter secondary like this, they just teach you something you want as you personal. Like for me, I want to be a doctor. There and then
Start there.
Start the subject instead of wasting 4 years in secondary. You don't know what you are going to study. 2 years in HSC. You don't know which kind of job you're going to do. No.
I have a story like that. It's a story of another day. It's a long one. The dilemma I got when I was in school, it was dramatic. Like those school from senior 4 to high school, I literally fought with all the teachers. And they were forcing me here, and I was like, no. So if you don't go here, we're going to send you out of school. Go bring your parents. Like they punished me. So like story of another day, but it was dramatic, and I remember so well. And I think like this is most of the people's stories. Parents and teachers and the system somehow points you in a direction that they know is the way, but in practicality is not. So like now, I don't know about the policy makers, I don't know if they hear this, but the best way to solve unemployment is to train people
to create jobs.
That's the best way. And anyone that has tried to be learning at the job knows what I'm talking about. The experience is priceless. You can't buy it with any kind of money. So like that's all what COVID taught us. The COVID lockdowns taught us. I think I did my first concert, virtual concert during the lockdowns. I never thought about that. For all the 10 years I've been singing, I never thought about it. Because I was always thinking like, now if you have to do a concert, you have to buy tickets and then book venues, and then you have to do all of these things and then travel, book hotels. Not like, now the lockdown comes and you're like, people can watch me from anywhere in the world. This is a world of technology, everything is here.
And you still earn from it.
Yes. So like that was my experience. And now I'm here thinking, why shouldn't we maintain the pace? Why should we back down?
We should incorporate it in the norm.
And then tribal roots. Tribal roots ideology is a technology-centered approach of youth, and we say a youth-led working solutions approach. Now, I don't think the older generations get what we are talking about. It is the young people that understand the pain. It's actually important that young people are reminded all the time that the future that we hope to see, or the future they hope to see, is the future they make now. And if you want to rely on the older generations to shape your future, you may be lying, because the older generations are not going into that future. Only you who is going there must know how to go there. And you must know how to shape it, make it look the way you want to arrive. What do you want to find? So the young people, you have no excuse to give to the world to say, we didn't make this because the older generation did this. You have all the energy and power. All you need is the will to keep moving forward, to make sure you create the life you want.
Yeah, true. So many people are out there like people are complaining of education, but of recent, COVID taught us a lot. Me personally, I discovered that when you go online, there are so many schools online.
Yes.
And you can really, it showed us the value of education is not only about attending a class or going to a classroom, going into a room and you have a teacher in front of you to teach you. You discover that even on your phone, smartphone, you can study and graduate. Even on a PC you study. You can apply online, study here, and you graduate, you go and get your credentials, and you still work and earn a living. Like, it is now, there's some enlightenment that COVID didn't only kill people or affect us. It also opened our minds to something. We have to always look at the positive side. Yeah.
It's what they used to call the necessary evil. It was the evil that was necessary so that we would be better people. And right now, I also would like to say Tribal Root Studio is a brainchild of the lockdowns and the other experiences we've had in the past. Tribal Root Studio and the work we've been doing in the past, like the AFAD work and all the other work, has mostly been done by people from different parts of the world. We have UK, we have USA, we have Barbados, we have Sudan, we have Somalia, we have Kenya, we have Tanzania, and we have Nigeria, we have Ghana. Like, we have members from across the world. And they're all looking in this direction. We must build a youth movement that will inspire the youth to be the change makers that we want. Now, do these people meet quite often? No. Have they ever held a conference where they sit in a boardroom and say, now here we are? No. These people are able to bring their efforts together because we are now connected. The world is very small. Technology makes it possible. Now, someone from the old school ways will come and tell you, now for you to do this, you have to go to Ethiopia and be at the African Union and call all these members of the African countries and then talk about this. We don't need that. For God's sake, they've been meeting for a very long time. A very long time, and still things don't look like they are moving. So people need to, wherever they are, the change you need starts from wherever you are. And that's the change we saw during the COVID lockdowns. And also I would like to say, one of the bad things I saw during was a very big number of young girls were impregnated during the lockdowns. In thousands. I think it's disheartening and a big blow, but at the same time it also shows our state, the moral compass, what our society has turned into. Because now, don't tell me these girls were impregnated away from their homes. Yes, some of them away, but most of them were in their homes. So now, this shows you, parents have little control of their kids. At the same time, the moral standards have decayed to that point. At the same time, these girls have no guidance. So right now we see that people are going back to school and most of the girls are pregnant, or some of them are breastfeeding, and they are young. And that all constitutes irresponsibility. And that is what most of our youth are being trained in. Fine, you are pregnant. At the end of the day, you are a mother. Every mother and father are going to be responsible for the children they brought forth. So the irresponsibility goes that deep. It is also transferred from the older generation. These are many girls from the broken families where there are no fathers. And they think it's normal. So they will go ahead and get pregnant and say, my mother got pregnant with me, didn't have a father, so I can also survive and do that. So the family has also broken. And all of these are things that need to be restored. So the COVID lockdown wasn't bad. It was a big lesson. And we can use it to shape the future that we want. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is again the Tribal Roots TV in the Tribal Roots studio. And today we are having a great discussion about what the effects of the COVID lockdown were, negative and positive, and how we could harness whatever experience we got to make sure we are moving forward, to make sure we are making our world better. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. And if there's anything you want us to speak about, address, you can still share it in the comment section, and we will be looking at it. We also want to thank our Patreon family. You can check the Patreon link and become a patron because we really need you for us to build this great movement. From the Tribal Root Studio, I say thank you and blessings.